Ship's log, Celestial Date 218.248.16. I've just gotten back on board, and I'm joined by Mina, also known as Dagger. So I would like it entered into the ship's log that she will be joining me for my next expedition. I've just left my friend Zephyr, and she's asked me to take Dagger with me to help her learn the ropes of exploring and finding vaults. And we have quite the challenge ahead of us because we are looking for the unknown legendary world of Orcus. Hello and welcome. I am Scrapperlock, and this is Starforged Alpha Cluster. We are with Krista and now Dagger, who is a connection of Krista's, and who in the last session was asked by Zephyr if we would let her come along. That was the request that Zephyr made as a request for a weak hit on a compel. In the previous episode, we forged a bond with Kiri, and in doing so, because we got a weak hit, she told us about the grave world, the dead world of Orcus, which has some sort of precursor vault on it that is like a grave site, and there's something called the interference engine, which will allow the user to put out an EM pulse and disable enemy sensors, which will allow them to do things like sneak up on the Shattered Federation. And so, Krista swore an iron vow to do this, and I've got a typo here, so let's fix that. And she agreed, but we don't know where Orcus is. On the way back to Relic Station through the drift, Krista examined another artifact that Will Blackstone, this other contact here, had given her, and she found out that there's a map on it that matches a partial map that Pyro has on one of his inscriptions in the hallways, in the corridors of the Stormswept, that she thinks will lead to Orcus, but she's not exactly sure, where to start. So she's got to sort of figure it out. And so when she went back to Zephyr to give her the original relic, the flag that she had found, she also was supposed to give her this object, this polyhedron that Blackstone gave her. And she asked Zephyr if she could keep it, and Zephyr said only if you take Dagger with you to keep an eye on this item. So that's kind of where we stand. I do want to sort of make an announcement here. As you're watching this is probably being originally posted. I uploaded a bunch of stuff ahead of time. Probably this episode is one of them. It's going to come out while I am out of town. And my intention is to return right around the time that this or the next episode will be airing and be able to pick right back up, and you guys will basically be seeing them right after I do them instead of me being like 8 or 10 episodes ahead. But there's some family stuff going on, and I may not be able to come back at the time that I anticipate. If that happens, there will be a gap, and it doesn't mean that I've stopped. It probably just means that I was forced to extend my trip longer than I intended. So if that's true, then that'll explain why. While I'm out of town, I don't really have any access to make posts and explain things. It's not easy to do since I'm in a hotel or whatever. Hard to do from my sister's house. I can get on the internet from there, but with her and her kids and everything, it's just not something I can easily do. So if there's a delay, that'll be why. And I'll try to get back to posting this as soon as I come home and get unpacked and all of the rest. So back to the session. First, we got to figure out where in the universe, where in the Alpha Cluster, the planet Orcus is. And in the previous session, we got a secure advantage from Rowena that I don't know if I really took advantage of, right? We got a strong hit, and Zephyr said she'd heard of Orcus, but I didn't really say what she told Krista about it. So could it be that Zephyr actually knows at least what sector this thing is supposedly in? Let's say 50-50. Maybe she does. She does not. Okay, so she doesn't have any help. So Krista's going to have to figure out what sector it's in. So Let me think about how she's going to do that. Okay, well, Relic Station is focused on two things: shipbuilding and research, right? So I suppose it's possible that they might, in their databanks, have some indication of where Orcus is rumored to be, even if Rowena doesn't know. Does Dagger know? Dagger's an explorer. I don't think it's as likely that she would have heard about it. But since it's a research project on this station, that's secondary. Their main project is shipbuilding, but they do have a research area. Can we maybe do some research in the database? I think that that's reasonable to see if we can figure out where this thing is. Right, and for now, all we're going to know is what sector it's in, not the exact location. So she's searching for clues, and I think that makes sense. I don't believe we get any additional bonuses here because her assets, scavenger is for gathering information while in a wreck. We don't have any other, explorer is for exploring waypoints and so on. So let's see if we have 10 momentum, so let's see if she's going to go into the database and she's going to search it, to scour the database on Relic to see if there's any rumors. Remember, so what Zephyr did say was that a survey team was sent there and never came back. So what she's going to do is search records of survey teams that went out and never came back, and around the time that Zephyr said this happened, and see if she can figure out at least what sector they were in. So we're rolling wits, and we get a strong hit with an opportunity. We get a story clue, and we have +2 momentum. Okay. So, I think that this is almost certainly going to tell her what sector it's in. But let's see what the story clue says. Involves a hidden or mysterious person. So, could it be that there's a person who knows where Orcus is? Is that what's going on? Does she get information in here that there's a person somewhere who knows where Orcus is? I think that that is likely. No. Okay. So we know we do get the information we're looking for, right? We find something helpful and specific, and the path we must take is clear. It involves a hidden person. So let me think about this. Okay, so what I think what makes the most sense is there is an expedition went there and most of them didn't come back, but there is a rumor that somebody actually did come back. And so let's sort of roll up a little bit about this person. All right, so what she discovers is that the expedition was lost. And then a group of mercenaries was hired to go and find them. And most of the mercenaries never came back. But there's a rumor that one guy, only in the records by his call sign of Bandit, somehow came back and told crazy stories of what happened on this grave world, and then he sort of vanishes from the record. So she thinks that Bandit knows where Orcus is. And so this means we're going to look up our vow here, and we're going to add find the merc named Bandit. Right? Because if she finds Bandit, then she can ask him where Orcus is located. So the question is, where is Bandit? So So I think who's going to know rumors? I think Dash knows some rumors, right? So I think the first thing Chris is going to say is, "Hey, look, let's go back to Dead Rock. I want to talk to my friend Dash in the cantina, and I want to see if he might know anything about this guy Bandit." And Dagger says, "What guy Bandit?" And Krista says, "Well, while you were getting your stuff onto the ship, I went to the archives here on Relic Station, and I checked to see if there were if anybody knew anything about the missing survey team that went to the Grave World, Orcus, that we're looking for. And it turns out a Merc group was sent after to try and retrieve them, and all but one of them disappeared, but one of them came back, and his name is Bandit. That's all I know about that. Bandit, that's all you've got?" Dagger says, "That's going to make him hard to find." And she says, "Well, that's why I want to go and talk to my friend Dash. He's a barkeep at the cantina on Dead Rock, and I think he might have some information about this. Now let me go talk to him and see if he does." So they get their stuff together. By the way, uh, Dagger's very admiring of the exosuit. She thinks it's really cool, and like, where can I get one? And Krista says, "Okay, let's head back to Dead Rock." So they're gonna head into the drift, and they're gonna fly over to Dead Rock. Hopefully, we're setting a course using supply, and we get a weak hit. We arrive but face a complication at the destination. Or we can make a suffer move. Okay, so I think what happens is it just takes them a long time. They have to do several anchorages to get there, and let's just let the momentum drop to 2, because I have no idea what complication we're going to have here. I don't want to burn all the momentum for just to get a strong hit on this. So they arrive at Dead Rock. It takes them a little longer. Maybe it takes Dagger a long time to load all of her stuff onto the ship and really get ready to go, and she's distracted, right? She's a distracted character. So, an eccentric. So she's bringing all these weird, like, paper books and electronic books and stuff with her. And Chris is like, "What are you taking that all?" "Well, I might need it, right?" So it ends up taking a long time. And so they head um, to Dead Rock. And when they get there, Chris says, "Come on, let's head into the cantina." So they head into the cantina. And Dash is there, and Krista sits down, and Dash says, "So, I heard you ended up getting Brennan Shelton arrested." She says, "Yeah, sorry about that. I wasn't trying to do that. He decided to accuse me of attacking him." And Dash says, "Well, did you attack him?" And Krista says, "Well, I fought him with my ship, and I had to disable his fighter, but he's the one who ambushed me." And Dash just kind of shakes his head and says, "Boy, you really like living on the edge." And Dagger's kind of listening to all this, kind of interested, because, again, she's an explorer, but she hasn't got the experience that Krista has. And Krista says, "Listen, Dash, I need some information from you." And she puts some credits on the bar. "Get us a couple drinks, and here's a tip." And he says, "So what do you need now?" And she says, "Listen, there used to be a merc who um, worked for various interests, goes by the name Bandit. Supposedly, he went out with a group looking for a missing survey team and never came back. Do you know anything about this guy?" So I feel like this is securing an advantage with sociability, right? I mean, the question is, does he know anything? I always struggle with this, because I feel like the move is what you want to find out whether you get specific information and stuff. But does he even know? Or maybe it should be gathering information. I mean, I really feel like this is securing an advantage with sociability. She doesn't get any bonuses here, although he has a connection. Remember, his role is a merchant, so he's not going to necessarily know anything about mercs. We get a weak hit, so we succeed, and we can take our momentum back. So I think that means that he's heard of Bandit, but there should be some sort of a complication. So what does he know about Bandit? Let's let's see what the first look is. He says Bandit 49 is ill-equipped again. Wow. I don't know why I keep getting that. So what does that mean in this context? So let me think about that. Yeah, so I just re-rolled that because I have no idea what that means in this context. I mean, he might be ill-equipped when she finds him, but why would Dash have a rumor that the guy is always ill-equipped if he's a merc? That seems weird to me. So he's got a tattoo. He has a planet, or let's say an asteroid, I don't know, tattoo on his where? Head. Okay, on his forehead. Um, and let's roll his goal. Repair a technology. So a merc who wants to repair a technology. Well, okay, and he's tattooed and ill-equipped. So I think what this means is, oh yeah, I know that about that guy. He's the one who has that freighter called the Alara 5. That's always breaking down. Think Millennium Falcon, right? And yeah, he's sort of famous for it, that he's gotten himself into some trouble because the freighter breaks down. And I think what happened in that case you're talking about is he arrived late after the other mercs got to the destination and they were already dead, and so he just turned around and came back. And so she says, okay, but that's all great information. But where is he? Do you know where he's located? And I think this is gather information. So do you know where he is? So the information provides new insight or complicates the quest. And we get a story clue. And that story clue is evokes a vision or prophecy. Let me think about that. All right, so what's the prophecy? Action theme. Defend protection. Okay, so what Dash says is, look, I don't know where he is, but supposedly what happened is they went to this world. I don't know if you've heard of it, called Orcus, and there's this prophecy about it that anyone who tries to go there will be attacked by its impressive defenses, and I think that's what Bandit found happened, and that's why he turned around and came back. So she says, but you don't know where he is. He says, I'm sorry, unfortunately, I don't know where he is. Now, this it gives us progress, and I think we're going to forge a bond with him. So she says, well, listen, thanks for all your help, Dash. You've been a real friend, and I'll always remember this, and I'll be happy to help you in exchange anytime you need it. And so we're going to roll, and we get an opportunity. Okay. So I don't know what the opportunity is going to be, but we've forged a bond with him. So this is now a complete bond, and we get a tick on our bonds track. So we're getting a little bit more. We're getting, these tracks are moving along. We're almost halfway through the discoveries track already. Now you can, once you get to the end, you can reset them and then continue. And I think you get a lesser amount of experience when you do that, because you've already gone through the track once. But I don't think that's what we're going to do. I think, we will do that, I guess, for the discoveries track, but But I feel like once we finish the background vow, that's the end of this character. There's no writing your epilogue move in this game, I don't think, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, so what's the opportunity? Let's do descriptor focus because we just did a story clue. Inhabited lair. So I don't know what that means. So let me think about it. All right. Well, I mean, I guess this means that he does know where Bandit is. I hate retconning stuff, but the Oracle is just not being kind to me today, and it's just I get an idea and then doesn't work with the next idea, so I'm not really sure. So I'm guessing he knows where Bandit is, and Bandit is in some kind of an inhabited lair, someplace, a base for drift pirates, maybe something like that. So let me roll up a new faction, and I guess Bandit is with this faction at their base. Okay, well, the Oracle helped me out, and I think I figured this out now. If we look back, we had a thing about prophecies, right? Evokes a vision or prophecy. I think I figured this out. Bandit was the only survivor of this attack. He is a member of a guild of mercs, and that is what we rolled, right? They are a mercenary guild, right? With a fated or prophesied leader who has a dark prophecy haunting him. That conceals their individual identity, so they only go by call signs, and their dominion is wealth, right? They're a localized, they're in one sector. I don't know if they're in this sector. We'll find that out, but they're a localized guild of mercs. And so they sent a group of them to go and find out what happened to the survey team, and the only one who survived was Bandit, and he came back a changed person with a tattoo on his forehead of an asteroid, and claiming that he was prophesied to lead the risen watchers to wealth and fame, and they believed him. And so he is this sort of fanatical prophesied leader of this small faction, and they're hidden. They conceal individual identity. So I don't know where they are, but you're going to need to find the risen watchers in order to find um, Bandit, and so you're going to need to locate them. So I think that's how this all ties together. Bandit is the leader of the risen watchers. So um, I would think that Dash at least knows what sector they're in. We may not know where within the sector, but we should at least know what sector we're in. So the question is it in this sector or is it somewhere else? And I don't know the answer to that, so I'm going to go 50-50. Is it in this sector? Yes. Okay, so somewhere in this sector, we're staying here, are these mercs. And so Krista says, okay, thanks for the information, Dash. So now she needs to find out where these guys are located, right? They're in an inhabited, right? Somewhere here, inhabited lair, right? So they're in a derelict somewhere. That's what I think. If it's a lair, they're in a derelict somewhere. And the question is, where the heck is it in here? Can we find it? And so now that we know we're looking for the, what are they called again? The Risen Watchers. Chris is going to go back to her ship and look up on the computer the Risen Watchers. And can she find them? And so this is going to be gathering information. So she sits down at the computer and she starts sort of Googling, as it were, for information about the Risen Watchers and where they may be. So let's take a roll, and rolling wits. And we get, that looks good. That is a strong hit. Story clue. We don't gain any more momentum, but involves an enemy or a rival. So something about these guys involves an enemy or a rival. Well, I mean, obviously, these guys are the enemy, right? So, could it be that the Risen Watchers are working for the Shattered Federation? I don't know, 50-50. Are they working for the Shattered Feds? They are. So they're working for the Shattered Federation, which, damn it, means that she's going to need to get information from the Shattered Federation to know where these guys are. But maybe Mainframe can do it because we have a back door. So I think Krista's going to call up Mainframe on the Weave, right? He's at a Weave hub, so she's be able to raise him. So she's going to raise him on the Weave hub, and she's going to say, hey, Mainframe, I need information on a group called the Risen Watchers. Risen Watchers? Yeah, they work for the Federation. I remember that from their database. She said, well, can you use the back door that you guys have and find out where they are? Um, and I think that, because we got a strong hit on this, I don't know that there's a need to, like, roll another move. I feel like, yes, he's going to say, yeah, I know where they are. And so what we're going to do is figure out where they are. So what I'm going to do here is we'll just roll the die and see what hex it lands on. So let me, if we go to the die rolling, we set the rollable area. Whoops. And just kind of reduce it like that. If it goes past, we'll try again. And I'm just going to, I don't know, roll a d20, see where it lands. Wow, it's pretty close. So, like, right up here? You're kidding me, they're that close? Yeah, they're in some sort of a derelict. It's just a few light years, I don't know, spinward of dead rock. So we're going to put it right there. Right, so this is going to be the Risen Watchers derelict. Until I will just leave it like that until I, oh no, that's too big. Until I create it. So let me figure out what kind of a derelict this is. Whoops, nope, don't want to do that. Or I guess we'll figure that out when we get there. So Krista says, all right, let's go. So this is, I guess, undertaking a journey again, but it's so close. I actually think I'm going to just set a course, right? Because I know you're supposed to be undertaking a journey to create like a drift passage, but to me, this is so close. It's not a known route, but I'm going to make a call here and just set it. It just seems ridiculous. I guess we'll face danger. That makes the most sense. We're just going to face danger, and we'll do it plus wits. It's basically it's a one move undertake journey, right? I just don't see the purpose of having a 2 or 3 move journey to go 3 hexes. It's just too much. So if we miss, we'll end up out here and have to do it again. If we hit, we'll get there. So roll wits, and I don't think we get any extra, do we? We don't. We're not going to get waypoints or any of that. We're just going to end up in the hex with the Risen Watchers. So we roll, and we get a success, a strong hit, and take +1 momentum, which we don't need. So let me pause to redo the die rolling area, and then I'll bring you back. All right, so I figured out some details. This is a planet-side settlement with limited power named Utopia, and it is on a desert planet with very thin, almost non-existent atmosphere, perpetual daylight, and expansive dune seas. The world is called Pila. So let's generate the star. Let me generate the star that it's orbiting, and then I'll get the system details and I'll bring you back. So the star is a burning yellow star called Pila Tau. The planet Pila orbits it. It's the only major planet orbiting it. It's a desert world, and I guess it's locked. It's tidally locked. So one side is perpetually in daylight, the other side is perpetually in night. and Utopia is somewhere on this planet, and that is where Bandit supposedly is located, and along with his cronies. But this is sort of a derelict, so it's going to be an inhabited derelict, and we will create. Uh, I'll create an oracle array, and we will delve this derelict, I guess, to try and find them when we come back in the next episode. Until next time, I am Scrapperlock, and this has been the Starforged Alpha Cluster.